What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. Listen, we are back. Legendary season 3. So listen, we're about to get into these reviews. Let me preface by saying I am not a ballroom. I never walked a ballroom. I just enjoy watching the show, and I give my commentary. Okay, I usually don't agree with the judges, but it's all good. Let's get into this. So for the new season, we got a couple of new things we need to talk about. First of all, we have a new judge. Meg Thee Stallion is no longer with the show, which I'm not surprised by. I was actually surprised she came back for season 2, but I'm not surprised that she's not here for season 3. She got a lot of other stuff going on. But she was replaced with Keke Palmer. Now, honestly, I would love to have seen them fill that seat. No shade to Keke. I love me some Keke Palmer. But I would have loved to have seen them fill that seat with an alum from the show. Somebody from season 1 or season 2 who has been through this experience. Because again, everybody who goes on Legendary, they let you know, listen, this ain't the same as ballroom. You know what I mean? There are parts of it, there are elements, but it's a different animal. And I would have loved to see maybe Mother Erica Flawless, maybe Sasha Sanchez. I would have loved to see an alum come back. Maybe my girl Tati. But neither here nor there. It's Keke, and I'm here for, again, I love Keke, so I'm okay. There's another new element. The live crowd is back, so we know that for season 2 there was no live crowd for obvious reasons because of COVID, and it did change the energy, in my opinion. It changed the energy not having the crowd there to do the chants and just give that energy. But again, the world was what it was, and they had to do what they had to do. So I'm not complaining, but I'm glad to see the crowd back. They've also added a sort of a fail stop for their system. Now, we know last year there was a lot of feedback. Well, actually, season 1, there was a lot of feedback about the way that finale happened. And then last year, there was a whole dust up about the house of Tichi and what happened with them. So now we have something that's equivalent to, if you look at Project Runway, after a couple of seasons of people getting sent home that they felt like shouldn't have been sent home or was sent home too soon, they created what they called the gun save. At the time it was Tim Gunn, and he could save a designer. Now it's Christian, but it's the same thing. Each judge will have the gag, what they call it, the gag flag. They're calling it the gag, G-A-G flag, that they can use one time for the whole season, and only one person can use it per episode. So if Law uses it to save somebody, then that's it for that episode. But then Law's out for the rest of the season, right? He can't use it again. I like that idea because I do think that, sometimes shit happens and sometimes people have a bad day, and I do think that this is a good way to sort of create or stop that from happening. Okay? All right. We're going to have a lot of guest judges. I can tell by the credits, Bob the Drag Queen, Kelly Rowland, Leslie, the comedian. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I can see her face, but it's escaping me now. Issa Rae. So we're going to have a lot of guest judges this season. So they dropped 3 episodes on us tonight. I'm going to give you, I know I can give you episodes 1 and 2. Episode 3 is looking suspect right now. But we have the Grand March Part 1. So we had the first 5 houses, and then Part 2 is the second 5 houses. So let's get into it. The Grand March looks at all 5 elements of Vogue. And you have to execute it, and that's what they're looking at for the Grand March. All right. The first house is the originator, the first house of Ballroom, the House of LaBeija, which was created by Crystal LaBeija, which was a direct response to her being fed up with the pageant system and queens of color not being fully engulfed and fully recognized and having a fair shot in the pageant system. And so she created her own system, which became Ballroom. So we have the House of LaBeija. Now, the House of LaBeija has a couple of people that I want to highlight. We have the father, Soho, but we also have Aja, who, if you don't know Aja was on RuPaul's Drag Race probably in the early seasons. Somebody in the comments are gonna tell me which season it was. Since then, she's done any multiple amount of things, and she has come out as trans, and so she is a trans woman. And so we have Aja LaBeija, we have Zenith Frida, who was from Sweden, and then we have Jelani. Now, I remember Jelani from my house. Again, I think I've told you guys this before. It was like a docu-series on Vice. I really wish they'd had more than one season. But Tati Mugler, who we saw on last season, I was introduced to Tati on my house. Jelani was on my house, and at the time, Jelani wasn't with the house. He was just started getting into Ballroom. But he is now with the House of LaBeija, and baby, he said that he is a winner. And I like Jelani. I like Jelani on my house. Somebody else we're going to get to later was on my house as well, but we've seen her before too, but we'll get there. So they came out. I'm going to just go to my notes. My notes. Aja came out embodying Crystal LaBeija. Like, you saw the wig, you saw the attitude, you saw the look, right? I wrote that the costumes were great. I wrote that it was slow, the energy was low, and I wasn't that impressed overall. But again, these are just my notes, you guys. Leonie gave them a 7, Law gave them an 8, Jamila gave them a 7, Kiki gave them an 8. So they got a total score of 30. 30 out of 40 is pretty good. I guess they saw something I didn't see. Maybe they gave them the benefit of the doubt because they were the first ones. I don't know, but I didn't think they were horrible. They just didn't make me be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? There were no moments for me. So then we have the House of Alpha Omega. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm just going to go ahead and be honest with y'all and tell y'all that I'm a little biased towards the House of Alpha Omega because a friend of mine has a really close friend, actually a former student, that's in the House of Alpha Omega. So I want to see them do well because of a friend, right? But we have the house. They've only been doing Ballroom as a house for 8 months. Now, individually, yeah, because the father individually, he's been doing Ballroom for longer. So we have Ronaldo, the father, Treyon, Adam, Taj, and then we have Rebel. I'm going to say what I said about the House of Alpha Omega. My notes said they had my attention the whole time. Like, I was focused on them the whole time. They came in and they grabbed me from the beginning, and they kept my attention. And the judges agreed with me because Law gave them a 9, Jamila gave the first 10 of the season, Kiki gave a 9, and Leonie gave a 9. And let me say that. Can I say that the dress that Leonie came out in, baby, 8? Baby, she did that. So then we have the House of Revlon. Now, the House of Revlon is our international house. They are straight from France, from Paris. And we have the father, Relly, mother, Kiani. I'm just making sure I read my notes right. Kobe, Giselle, and Nunu. Their outfits were cute because it was like the whole Paris theme. They had the berets and they had the striped shirts and the red, white, and blue color scheme. I thought it was a cute. I did to remind us this is who we are. They did a little slow, like Paris, like they had the Paris music playing, and then they went into their routine. What I wrote in my notes was it could be cleaner. It was I felt like it was a little sloppy. I feel like it could be cleaner. Jamila, now the house was founded in 2016. Jamila gave them a 9, Kiki gave them an 8, Leonie gave them a 9, Law gave them an 8. So again, The judges didn't agree with me. The House of Machiavelli, their father actually passed away. And so a lot of what they're doing for him, right? We have the Jada is the mother. We have Goldie, Raja, Smokey, and Mara. I wrote that the energy was very low and that their movements were slow. It's like they were moving in slow motion, like there was no energy, like they needed a Red Bull or something. Um, I did write that it could be because they didn't have a lot of time to practice because a couple of their members had COVID, and so that limited the amount of time they could practice as a group. And I'm giving the benefit of the doubt that that was part of what was going on. They even were dancing in masks, and I'm going to also give them the benefit of the doubt as somebody who still has to work with a mask on all day long and talk because I'm a teacher and I have to talk all day through a mask. It's not easy, much less doing full routines. So I can only imagine that that might have been part of it. But Law did like their costumes. He liked what they had on, which for Law, that's a big deal, right? So we have Kiki gave them a 6, Leomi gave him a 5, Law gave him a 6, Jamila gave him a 6. So the judges agree with me on this one, and they had a score of 23. Then we had the House of Light. Now, can I be honest? The House of Light was giving me some like bohemian. We want you to feel the trees swaying and the sunflowers in the field. Like they were giving me very that. I love why they came together as a house. I love what they stand for. The father of the house said he was a dancer. He came out to LA, he wanted to dance behind the stars, and he wanted to, really, that was his plan. And unfortunately, he got caught up in the drug culture. And he said that he formed the House of Light at a time of crisis in his life. He was actually, on the brink of doing some harm to himself. And he created the House of Light to be a place for people in crisis and to bring attention to the drug issues, and a place of refuge for people who are going through those things, right? So I can't be mad about that, and I think it's admirable. However, their performance was horrible. I feel like they had like a Tron theme going on. So here's what I'm gonna say is my opinion. This is my opinion because Naomi taught him a new one, right? And I feel like I wrote in my notes, professional and offended, right? They were professional dancers. Now, this was the problem, but this was where a lot of people last year were worried about the House of teaching. Because they were professional dancers. Are they going to be able to bring ballroom into that? Are they going to be so structured as dancers that they're not going to be able to be ballroom? And we know that Tichi did it. Tichi bought it every week, and they bought ballroom. However, they did not. And what Naomi was saying was, it seemed like y'all just put together a routine that y'all just learned how to Vogue last week. And she was actually upset. She was like, I am offended because I feel like y'all are imposters. But I said that. She didn't say that. But I'm saying I feel like that's where she was going with it. Like, y'all aren't real. Y'all are imposters. Y'all are here to almost like, if you go back when Madonna did the song Vogue, how a lot of people in ballroom felt that Madonna just exploited the culture and exploited what they found near and dear, and everybody is out here voguing and taking voguing classes, and it sort of bastardized the art. And I feel like that's where Naomi was with it. Like, you are bastardizing my art. And she was not feeling them at all. And baby, they got a score of 19. It was not good. So it came down to, so those were our 5 houses. So for obvious reasons, the house of Machiavelli went against the house of Light. Mara performed for Machiavelli. Raku performed for the house of Light. And what I wrote in my notes was, I was not impressed with anyone. Like, honestly, that could have been a double elimination as far as I was concerned. Nobody was giving me anything. They weren't acting like it was a battle. They weren't acting like their life was on the line as far as in this competition. They weren't giving me anything. Listen, maybe it's me. Maybe we are spoiled, right? But when I tell you, if you go back to season 1 or even season 2, baby, we had some legendary battles. Like, you go back to season 1, remember? Oh, girl that climbed up the side in her heels and did a backflip off the thing. And then we had Shorty, who, I mean, was contorting and flipping and turning and twisting. And, I mean, left it on the floor every time. There was blood on the floor. You understand what I'm saying? And they just did not give that to me. So, honestly, both of them could have went home as far as I was concerned. But, Mara saved their house, Machiavelli stayed, and Light left. And honestly, I was alright with that. So 1 house down, 9 more to go. We have the Grand March Part 2, which I'm going to go ahead and do that too. Alright? Peace.